Not since 1963 has someone been executed in Ohio's electric chair. It now stands at the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility in Lucasville. Electrocution is considered among the most humane methods of legal execution. Death occurs instantaneously. And the negative electrode to the right leg. The current is then applied in the amount of 1950 volts for 10 seconds, 500 volts for 40 seconds, and 1950 volts for another 10 seconds. Ironically, this chair at Lucasville was designed and built by an inmate by the name of Charles Justice. He was later released on parole but returned to the old Ohio penitentiary for first-degree murder and became the 38th person to die in his own invention. Ohio's death penalty was ruled unconstitutional in July 1978. Those who were on death row are now exempt, and we discussed the issue with them. Charles Broadnax was convicted of first-degree murder and robbery in 1970 and sentenced to death. If the death penalty is reinstated in Ohio, do you think it will be a crime deterrent?
No, I don't consider it a crime deterrent because there are various types of crimes that are classified punishable by death. And now you take in consideration a crime of passion where someone kills through the heat of an argument or what have you. They're not primarily thinking of a death penalty. They're concerned more or less with the issue at hand. Now, on the other hand, the guy that goes out and commits a robbery, he is not thinking in terms of killing the individual, although he entertains the thought that this could happen during the course of that. So he calls himself using a weapon, in other words, to get that person or people to do what he wants them to do at that time. Now, and as a lot of things go, sometimes plans go astray, so somebody gets killed. Now it dawns on him now that he's subject to the death penalty. But that wasn't his primary concern, when he first went out to commit a robbery. He was thinking of just making the money and getting away as quick as possible with no harm done to anyone. So now, in those two particular cases, and then you may classify the other individual that they call a psychopathic killer or something, then he goes around and kills maybe 2 or 3 dozen people, we might say. Then that man needs some mental adjustments there. He's sick. He's really sick. He's not, his mental faculties are not up there, what am I trying to say? In other words, he doesn't have his thing together, wherein he knows what he's doing. So now to put him in the electric chair wouldn't mean anything,
Would you like to see Ohio's death penalty reinstated?
I would be against it on this, for this reason. They tend to discriminate about the bills that they even have up now. They're talking about if the governor is killed, lieutenant governor, or other people that are dignitaries of the state and what have you, that it should be used in that case, or in those cases. But I would consider it would be just as important to use it with you or anyone else. I mean, after all, your life is just as precious to you as the governor's would be, or whoever else, So why discriminate and say we can use it for certain people? That's no good. So that in itself, I see that as defeating the issue that they even have up.
John Carter was charged with murder at the age of 16 in 1964, tried as an adult, found guilty, and sentenced to the old Ohio penitentiary, and he is now a Lucasville inmate. If it's reinstated, if the death penalty is reinstated in Ohio, do you think it will serve as a crime deterrent?
Definitely not.
Why not?
Well, because of the last 16 years that I've been incarcerated in Ohio, I've met actually thousands of people that have been sentenced to life, and I don't really believe that anybody stops in their tracks in the middle of a fit of anger or an emotional status and said, well, if I do this, if I kill this person, will I go to the chair or won't I go to the chair? I don't feel it's really even considered at this time, because I feel that statistics prove that most of murders committed are of a emotional status. It's not a thing where they actually sat down and planned to do this.
Do you have any family or close friends? What would be your reaction if someone killed one of them?
Well, of course, I'm hope it can be understood, you know, I'm prejudiced to a great degree because of the number of years that I've been in prison. But my feelings are that for everything that's done, there's a reason for it. And I don't feel society today is quite concerned as far as what is the reason something was done. It was who committed it, and let's incarcerate him, let's place him in prison. The streets aren't safe. The actual reason for the crime occurring, or what brought the problem about, is never really surfaced. You know, so really for years, many times it goes just covered up.
What if someone killed your mother or your father?
Well,
Would that hurt you?
sure, definitely it would. Sure, I'd only be a liar if I said any different, sure. I would probably even get to a point to probably where I would hate a person, you know, because of this. But again, you know, to a person's belief is, why did it happen? You know, there had to be a reason for it. You know, and I don't feel that two wrongs doesn't make a right. It was wrong for this person to kill him. But now, should I say, well, I'm going to be a god, I'm going to be a person in a position to where I'm going to take their life, and that makes it even? That doesn't bring my family back alive again, and that doesn't stop somebody else from doing it.
You were convicted when you were a juvenile. What do you think might have prevented that could perhaps prevent some crimes that might occur with juveniles today?
Well, I can only go on what I believe is that if a person goes out today on the street, whether he be released from prison while he's on parole or so on, if a person doesn't drink, if a person doesn't fool with drugs, you know, and a person goes out to spend his evening other than going to a movie or going through a shopping center, what does society encourage for a person really to become involved in? I mean, as far as each community within itself, there's very little today, I feel, and in my personal feelings in regards to juveniles, they have a whole lot of time and really nothing constructive to do within that time, after schools, on the weekends, during summer vacations, and so on.
Was that your situation?
Yes.
Between the two of them, Charles Broadnax and John Carter have spent 25 years in prison, isolated from society, and they each were curious about your viewpoint.
How well are they qualified to go into that jury room and make that decision based on the information that is presented in a particular case?
Do they ever believe that a man can honestly change? You know, that something that happened within a few seconds' time, and he's placed away in Ohio for an approximate 15 years, do they believe he can change?